Nate's team started throwing punches at my security guards. My security guards dropped his team, and it just...
Gervonta Davis smashed a chair over Jake Paul during their recent press conference, and Jake promises this one will be settled inside the ring. During their face-off, Davis called Jake a fat, skill-less wannabe boxer, saying anyone who thinks size alone wins fights doesn't understand boxing. Tank made it clear he's coming for a knockout, but that statement didn't sit well with everyone. Fans and pros alike are calling him delusional, arguing that his lightweight power won't do anything against a man nearly 60 pounds heavier. Even his own coach, Calvin Ford, has expressed concern about the risk Tank is taking.
Tank looked very uncomfortable facing off. He just did. I've seen other face-off this Tank done. He gets in their face and they're intense and he looks good. He looked very meager up there. You've had 8 fights and you're gonna go tangle with Tank Davis. And the story instantly comes out. Jake is so much bigger. There is such a compliment to Jake within that insult. It is meant to be an insult.
Since their fiery face-off in New York, fans have noticed Tank looking distant, irritated, and flat-out uninterested. But things exploded when Jake Paul pushed it too far. Jake began mocking Tank's personal life, joking about his ankle monitors, handcuffs, and legal troubles. That's when Tank snapped, launched a chair across the stage, and yelled that this fight is personal now. To make things worse, Jake pulled off one of his most shocking stunts yet. He brought out actual clowns on stage, pointing at Davis and saying, "Any man who puts his hands on a woman is a clown."
I want to see clowns. Gervonta, you're the clown, buddy. You're the clown, Gervonta. Any man who puts his hands on a woman is the clown.
But this might just be another chapter in Jake's mind games. Days after the New York press conference, Jake uploaded an AI-generated clip showing him and Tank kissing on the mouth. Fans were divided, some laughed, others said Jake had gone way too far. According to Tank's camp, the joke might have crossed the line completely. And there were even talks about pulling out of the fight altogether.
Look at this face-off, Henry. What are your thoughts here?
You're hearing that shit from me. That's cringe. In some weird way, I kind of like
cringe
it.
About it.
He's trying to big man the smaller guy, who the smaller guy to me is dangerous. I think Tank Davis is going to put the hands on him, but I like it, bro. I will say something about Jake Paul. He's brought a lot of attention to boxing. Tank Davis guaranteed $40 million.
If you were in that position.
Tank's coach, Calvin Ford, is already raising red flags, this time about the gloves. According to Jake's father, Gregory Paul, Ford requested that Gervonta use smaller gloves while Jake stuck with the standard, thicker pair. The idea? To make Tank's punches sharper and more dangerous. But to Jake's camp, it looked like a desperate move. "You're already trying to bend the rules because you know it's a bad matchup," Gregory said. Ford didn't deny the request but claimed it was about fairness, saying Jake's gloves didn't feel right. The whole exchange went viral online, and fans started asking, is Tank's team already losing confidence?
Bro, you can't be mad at somebody for doing what they feel is best for them.
Will it impact Tank's legacy if Jake Paul were like to beat him or even like knock him out?
Dude, Tank's a 3-division world champion, 4-time 3-division world champion. At the end of it, bro, you can't take anything away from him. Bro, you can't be mad at somebody for doing what they feel is best for them. It's the same way Roach...
And honestly, they might be. The weight issue just won't go away. When the host at the New York event announced the fight would take place at 195 pounds, Tank immediately cut him off. "Nah, y'all said 190. You could see the frustration written all over his face. That tiny correction spoke volumes. Tank didn't even seem sure what the official weight limit was. For a man who's fought his entire career around 135, even 5 extra pounds can change everything, let alone 60. But Tank's not backing down. In interview after interview, he keeps repeating, weight doesn't mean skill. People think size wins fights, it doesn't. Power, timing, and heart win fights. And I got all 3. He's doubling down on his prediction. Jake's getting knocked out. And maybe he truly believes it.
A 5'7" wingspan. Tank fighting me would be a fairer matchup. We're basically the same size. And you wonder why fans think Jake's fights are rigged? Because every time we see some nonsense like this, it feels like WWE with boxing gloves. Here's the kicker though. Jake threatened to sue anyone who calls his fights rigged. Yeah, you know, the same guy who preaches freedom of speech now wants to ban opinions. After that clown show with Mike Tyson that left everyone scratching their heads. Maybe.
But Calvin Ford doesn't sound so sure. In a recent media chat, he admitted, "I just want Tank to get paid and get out safe. That's all." That one sentence says everything about how seriously his corner is taking Jake's size advantage. Jake, meanwhile, is thriving on the chaos. He arrived at the Miami presser in a $3 million Bugatti Chiron, with streamer Aiden Ross filming the entire thing. Tank showed up in a sleek black Ferrari SF90. Both flexing, but Jake's confidence was louder. He told reporters, "I'm the bigger man, the better athlete, and the smarter businessman." Tank didn't hesitate to fire back. "You're a YouTuber pretending to be a fighter."
Man, I'm thinking about, Bigfoot versus Littlefoot. Andre the Giant versus Wee Man. Man, this is gonna be better than damn Circus on Lake. Yeah, they gonna look weird as hell in the ring together, man. You see how big Jake Paul is? 200 plus pounds? Man, I don't understand it. I don't get it. Yeah, the circus continues. This is why I can't stand them.
Even Mike Tyson has thrown his support behind Jake Paul, at least when it comes to power. Ahead of Jake's fight with Gervonta "Tank" Davis, Tyson admitted he was sore for days after sparring with Jake, though some say that might have had more to do with Tyson's age than Jake's punch. Coming from Iron Mike himself, that's still massive. For Jake, it's exactly the kind of credibility he's been chasing for years. And now, with Tyson's stamp of approval, he's trying to prove that he truly belongs in real boxing conversations, not just influencer ones.
Problems in the last month or so and rumors about his retirement. I don't think it's a massive shock that he is taking this Jake Paul fight if it is going to go ahead, purely for the reason that it's a lot of money for maybe not the most difficult job that he's going to have in his career. So it's a strange one, but yeah, it's just another kind of day in the sport, really, isn't it?
Despite all the controversy and noise that follow him everywhere, Jake Paul isn't slowing down. At 28, the Ohio native insists he's chasing a legitimate world title shot. Sure, fighting Tank Davis might not bring him closer to that. It's more spectacle than sport. The bout is an exhibition, not a sanctioned match, which means no belts, no rankings, and no official record. But what it does bring is money, attention, and headlines, and that's exactly what Jake knows how to control. His business partner and most valuable promotions co-founder, Nakia Badarin, has already gone public to clarify every technical detail, trying to shut down the confusion surrounding the fight's legitimacy.
You do this when you're in your 40s. You don't do this now, when people want Shakur, when you fall to a draw and Lamont Roach should be next. We get all of that. Let me tell you where I am. The fight is scheduled and it's going to happen. Now!
According to Badarin, the fight will officially be capped at 195 pounds, fully approved by the State Athletic Commission. It's scheduled for 10 rounds, 3 minutes each, with both fighters wearing 12-ounce gloves. 3 professional judges, handpicked by the commission, will be sitting ringside with real scorecards, meaning if the fight goes the distance, there will be an official winner. Both fighters are also under full USADA drug testing, the same protocol used in sanctioned world title fights. So while it's being marketed as an exhibition, this event looks and feels every bit like the real thing.
Actually retired out of the sport because he's been, making claims saying that he's done and that he's about to retire. Basically, he doesn't want to do this no more. And I feel like, he got the big fight, and there's really no bigger fight than this. There's just no bigger fight than this, bro. At first, people were saying
that official announcement was supposed to silence the critics, to prove the event wasn't fake or staged, but it didn't. The word exhibition still hangs over the fight like a shadow, and that's what's making a lot of boxing purists uneasy, especially people like Pauline Malignaggi. And when it came to speaking his mind, Paulie didn't hold back. He called the entire event a circus. "People don't understand what this really is," he said. "It's not a real fight. It's an exhibition." Malignaggi went further, addressing the ongoing rumors about Jake Paul fixing his fights. "I don't think Jake sets fights up," he explained, "because fixing a sanctioned fight is a federal crime. What he does do is pick opponents who are either too small or way past their prime."
But instead of giving us the rematch with Roach, he's going to fight Jake Paul. Now, this is where you have a chance to stand up as fans. Don't pay for it. Don't watch it. But we know that you're going to.
Then Pauline dug even deeper into this matchup. This fight's not sanctioned, which means technically, you can't even bet on it, he said. He broke it down simply. When you call it an exhibition, you take away the gambling angle because they can't legally allow betting on something that could be staged. That's why they had to turn Tyson's last fight into a real one, because fans demanded to bet on it. Malignaggi described the whole thing as wacky, unpredictable, and a circus, implying that this fight might end up being more of a spectacle than a serious contest.
When you go get an actual real boxer, for real boxer, who is a knockout artist, who is still in his prime, and now you put him in this exhibition, this just shows me right now that the sport is officially gone, and the only hope we have is September 13th, Canelo and Bud Crawford.
Still, Paulie did offer a glimpse of how the fight might actually play out if it's real. If they don't stage it, and it's not just light sparring, then Tank's got a shot, depending on the glove size. Malignaggi pointed out the massive size difference. Jake could be close to 100 pounds heavier. With smaller gloves, Tank's speed and precision could cause real problems for Jake. But those same gloves also make Jake's power even more dangerous for a smaller opponent. In other words, if both men decide to really throw down, this exhibition could turn into something far more violent than anyone expects.
But I think my thoughts on it is let's watch and see what happens.
Ryan Garcia said that boxing is turning into WWE.
Yeah,
with that type of matchup. What do you agree? Last thing, White House card, like he said, you want Conor McGregor?
Yeah, but the whole thing's on WWE. So
right.
Like, at least that's happening and getting something to talk about, something to watch, and
that massive size gap has been the biggest talking point since this fight was announced. Fans can't believe Gervonta Davis agreed to fight anywhere near 190 to 195 pounds. Even if it's an exhibition, that's a huge leap. Tank has spent his entire career fighting around 135 pounds. No fighter that small has ever stepped into cruiserweight territory against a full-sized opponent. Not seriously, at least. The risk is enormous, and everyone knows it.
Mixed boxing.
Maybe so. Well,
I just hope we get the Shakur fight before that moment. So for me, that Tank fight, I mean, as I understand it, Tank's fighting Jake Paul, which is the most bizarre thing ever, but I'm sure it'll do massive numbers. And I don't know what'll happen with the Lamont Roach fight, but I just hope that...
Malignaggi comments about the gloves weren't random either. The official glove size is now confirmed at 12 ounces, heavier than the standard pro size. That means less damage per punch, but more protection for both fighters. For Gervonta, that's good news. It gives him a little more cushion against Jake's heavier shots. But it also limits how much power he can transfer from his smaller frame. Every ounce of padding matters when you're giving up 60 pounds in size.
I mean, and you know what, PBC has to be called out in this too. They have one of the biggest stars in boxing, and they're putting them in this farcical fight. And they are struggling for survival, PBC. I mean, they are just falling apart. You know, the Pacquiao fight did terrible, terribly promoted. Pacquiao was hardly available. I mean, it was just that they were too cheap to hire Pacquiao's norm.
Jake Paul, on the other hand, doesn't seem to care about any of that. He's been hyping the fight the way only he can, with controversy, confidence, and marketing genius. On the Double Coverage podcast, Jake even revealed that there's a massive knockout bonus on the line. He didn't say how much, but he called it big, big money. According to Jake, whoever scores the knockout gets a massive check. And even if it ends in a TKO, the bonus still counts. This classic Jake Paul, turning risk into spectacle and spectacle into dollars.
Be an exhibition bout, it will not count towards their professional careers. The age is close. Jake Paul is 28, Gervonta Davis is 30, but the weight difference is massive. Paul has fought around 200 to 227 pounds. Davis dominated at just 135 pounds. Many expected Davis to fight Lamont Roach Jr. again, but instead he chose Jake Paul, a fight many say is more about money than legacy. Critics suggest
both fighters are walking into this one with the same mission, to end it inside the distance. Jake made that clear himself. This isn't going to be one of those Floyd-Logan fights where nobody wins. Somebody's getting sleepy. And even though it's officially listed as an exhibition because of the massive weight gap, Jake insists that doesn't make it any less dangerous. It's only called an exhibition because he's like 70 pounds lighter, Jake said. But once we're in there, it's real. The punches are real. The knockouts real. He didn't stop there. Jake kept up his trademark psychological warfare, calling out Gervona's mindset. Tank's mentally weak in the ring. As soon as things don't go his way, he starts to crumble. And things aren't going his way this time. He doubled down, warning, whatever he thinks is coming into that ring, whatever he's planning for, he's underestimating me.
In exhibition bout, it will not count towards their professional careers. The age is close. Jake Paul is 28, Gervonta Davis is 30, but the weight difference is massive. Paul has fought around 200 to 227 pounds. Davis dominated at just 135 pounds. Many expected Davis to fight Lamont Roach Jr. again, but instead he chose Jake Paul, a fight many say is more about money than legacy. Critics suggest
that comment echoed what many have said about Gervona's composure under pressure. He's known for being patient, for taking his time, reading his opponent, and then striking with surgical precision. But against a much bigger, more aggressive fighter like Jake Paul, that patience could be a liability. Jake's plan is simple. Use size, volume, and pressure to force mistakes early. For him, this fight is all about power and control. He's already earned Mike Tyson's respect for how hard he hits. Now he wants to prove he can handle a world-class name like Tank, even in an exhibition. The irony? Both men keep calling it just business. But everything about their behavior says otherwise. This is personal, and both are chasing validation.
I think Jake wins.
Jake's just so big, dude.
I think Jake wins.
This is different because it's similar. It's similar to Logan versus Mayweather, but Jake Paul now obviously is way more advanced than where Logan was at that moment in time.
I mean, it's just. I mean, yeah, no, but dude,
Did
Jake.
you ever watch his highlights?
Jake.
For Gervonta Davis, this is about defending the soul of boxing. He wants to prove that skill still beats size, that pure technique still matters more than hype. For Jake Paul, it's about shedding the YouTuber label once and for all, to show he belongs in the same ring as real champions, even if they're smaller. Neither of them wants to walk out of Miami looking embarrassed. And that makes this so-called exhibition far more dangerous than it looks on paper.